Hello and welcome to my session. So today we're going to need a brick or a block, or if you don't have this at home you could just use a big chunky book. That will work just as well. And we're going to start lying down so you can get yourself comfortable. So take a few moments just to get yourself settled in. Take the feet hip width apart, just let the feet flop out to the sides. Just bring the arms away from the body with the palms facing up. And then let's all take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then really allowing now this time to let yourself arrive and settle. We can start to move away from the thinking mind and become more aware of the physical body. So really feeling into sensations. What sensations are present in your body right now? Just start to notice. Perhaps just doing a little mini body scan here. Scanning the body, noticing how it's feeling. And inviting in some acceptance with how you are right now. And then let's move the awareness now to the breath. So start to follow the natural rhythm of the breath, so no need to try and change the way you're breathing. Just begin to connect with the ebb and flow, the rise and fall of the breath. And start to become really interested in how the breath moves and how it feels in the body. And each time you notice your mind getting distracted, so it's losing focus, it's drifting away into thought, just notice where your mind wanders to. So just notice what you were thinking about. You can just let that go for now, and then guiding the awareness back into the breath. Just keep repeating that process. So each time the mind drifts away, you're just gently guiding it back. No judgment or criticism that the mind has wandered. So we're going to move into a breathing exercise from here. We're going to come into the golden breath. So for this practice, we're going to be breathing in through the nose, so filling up, and then you're going to be blowing the breath out through the mouth. So you're going to make a little hole through the lips, so pursing the lips and then blowing the breath out really slowly, so a real slow, controlled release. And as you do this, just bringing in a visual here, so we're going to visualize a golden thread floating on the breath. So imagine it leave from the mouth, trailing off, and you can visualize however that golden breath wants to, or golden thread wants to move. So you might find it just goes up into the air, or you might want to wrap it around you. So just using visualization, guiding the thread. So we're going to start with a clearing breath. We'll take a big breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth, and then inhaling through the nose and then pursing the lips and start to blow out the breath, visualizing the golden thread floating on the breath. So completely emptying the exhalation, take a little pause and then drawing your next breath in through the nose and then blowing the breath out again. Visualizing your golden thread. And we'll just keep moving now in our own time. So just take your time, don't rush the breath. Trying to stay with that visual. So as we release the exhalation really slowly here, we're triggering our relaxation response in the body, rest and restore. Things start to feel a little bit more grounded, a bit more centered. So same practice with the mind. If it's drifting away into thought, just gently pulling the awareness back into the breath, back to the visual. So we'll come into our final cycle of breath here. Completely releasing the exhalation, pausing, and then allowing your breath now to settle back into its natural rhythm. Take a few moments just to really feel into the body, just feeling the effects of the breathing practice. And then we'll begin to invite in some movements from here. So just start to feel into the fingers, wiggling them, feel into the toes, giving them a little wiggle. Gently roll your head from side to side. Make your way into a nice full body stretch here. Maybe a nice big yawn. Oh, just enjoy that nice length through the whole body. And then when you feel ready, you're going to draw your knees in towards your chest. Let's just take a little gentle rock here from side to side, massaging into the back. Okay, so we'll start with a little supine twist from here. So keep the knees hugging in. You might want to bring your arms out into a T shape here, so out to the side, or maybe if there's not so much space, you might cactus your arms, so bend at the elbows and have the backs of the hands resting on the ground. Okay, so from here we're going to take a deep breath in, and then with the exhale, just allow your legs to drop now over to the right hand side. So let them land on the ground, and then you're going to either keep your head at neutral here, or you're going to turn your head to the left side. And once you're comfortable here in this position, just really let your body melt and surrender into this shape. Last couple of breaths here. And then slowly bring the legs back up to centre, rolling the head back to neutral, and then let's take that over to the left side. So let the legs drop over to the left, and then either keep the head at neutral, or you can roll your head looking over to the right side. And then soften and settle now with each exhalation, just exploring new sensations through this side. Lovely, and then slowly we're going to come back through to centre, hugging the knees back in, taking a gentle rock from side to side, and then if you rock yourself all the way over onto one side, we're going to push ourselves up and make our way now into child's pose. So let's all come into a wide-legged child's pose, so big toes together, take the knees as wide as the yoga mat. And then from here we're going to extend the arms forward. So you can either use your book or your block here to rest your forehead onto, just bringing yourself a little bit away from the ground, or rest the chin down or bring the forehead to the mat. Let the sit bones drop back towards the heels, extend the fingertips forwards, and just take a few moments just to feel now into your connection to the ground. And then if we take a walk with the hands, so they're going to come off the right hand side of the mat, and you might even bring your left hand on top of your right here, and you're going to just think about pressing the sit bones back towards the heels, and we're just exploring now a little bit of space and stretch into the left side body, just working into those intercostal muscles. Start to deepen the breath here. Let's take a few deeper breaths. Exploring that space through the left side. And then slowly coming back through centre, and then we'll do the same over to the left side. So the right hand might come on top of the left. Start to feel that length now through the right side body, deepening the breath here. And then beginning to move back to centre. Just take a few breaths back at neutral here. And then from here we're going to lift ourselves up to sit back on the heels, and you're just going to either hover the fingers or glide the fingers so that they come all the way back behind you. Just coming into a little supported kind of half camel here as you either look up or let your head drop back. And then we're just going to slowly return back down into our extended child's pose. So use your inhalation to come all the way up. So holding the breath in as you open up, opening up through the heart space. And then with the exhale, slowly coming all the way back down. Okay, and then we'll just keep moving steadily with the breath here. Taking your time. Just coming through one more time. And then once you arrive back into child's pose, just take a little pause here. Okay, from here, if you bring yourself now up into a tabletop position, so we're going to do puppy pose. So if you make sure that your hip is above your knee, and then you're going to take a little walk with your hands forward. So again, you might use your book or your block here to rest the forehead on. It's just going to take a little bit of the pressure off the shoulders and also bring you away from the ground. Or you might find it feels comfortable to bring the chin or the forehead down to the mat. So once you're in position here, think about extending the fingertips away, forwards, and the tailbone gently lengthening back. And start to feel into that nice length through the spine. Feeling into a nice stretch through the shoulders. Deepening the breath. And with each exhalation, can you think about your heart melting a little bit closer down towards the earth? Smooth and steady breaths. Just seeing if you can maintain a deeper rhythm with your breath than your normal breathing as we move into all the different postures. We'll take another 2 breaths here. And then you're going to slowly bring yourself back to tabletop. We're going to come to sit onto the heels for a little bit of time. We're not going to be here for too long. So if that's comfortable, just sitting on the heels. If not, just using your prop again. And you can just place the prop underneath the sitting bones and come just into more of a supported position here. And then we're just going to work into the neck and the shoulders a little bit. So if we just start with dropping the right ear over towards the right shoulder, and then chin to chest, and then left ear over to left shoulder. We'll just do that forwards again, chin to chest, over to the right, and to the left. So you can either just continue with that forward movement, or if the neck feels good, you might want to let the head roll all the way back now, so taking a full circle. And if you're taking full circles here, then you can change the direction. Lovely, and coming back to center. And then if we bring the hands onto the shoulders, we're going to just start to draw some nice big circles with the elbows. Let's just work into the shoulder joints. Just feeling into sensations through the shoulders, through the arms. And then we'll take that back in the other direction. Lovely, and then releasing. Great, let's bring ourselves back into tabletop. So we're going to come into some cat and cows here. I'm going to use the block now to squeeze the block between the thighs. So if you want to come into that position, it's just going to help us fire up the inner thigh muscles and also help to engage the pelvic floor as well. So if you bring yourself forward, make sure your shoulders come over your wrists and you've got your hips over your knees. And then from here, we'll start by inhaling and letting the belly drop, the tailbone lift. We're going to lift the gaze. And then with the exhale, push the ground away, draw chin to chest, so rounding into the back, squeezing your prop, and think about squeezing the pelvic floor up. And then inhaling to open, so belly drops, tailbone lifts, gaze comes up. And then exhale, when you think about your navel drawing in towards your spine, squeeze out all the breath. And again, so inhale, open. And exhale, round. So really feeling the pelvic floor. So think about that muscle you use to stop yourself from going for a wee. So you really want to think about that, squeezing up. And then we're just moving gently here with the breath. Just feeling into that transition between the two movements. Notice how the spine moves and feels. Just creating a little bit of space between the vertebrae. Coming through one more time. And releasing back to neutral. Okay, so we can release our prop now to the side. And then we're going to find our way into gate pose. So if you bring yourself now, you're going to bring your right leg out to the side. And we're going to lift ourselves up. So you can have the toes forwards here, or you can turn them out to the side, whichever position works best for you. Just make sure the foot's kind of in line with your knee. So right hand's going to come on top of the right leg. I'm going to inhale to flip open the left palm and lift the arm up. So go nice and tall here first. And then as you exhale, start to tilt over to the right hand side. So come in slowly, there's no need to force the body. And then if you deepen your breath here, so you're using your exhalation just to explore if there's a little bit more space. Really feeling into that nice length now all the way through the left side of the body. Take another 2 full breaths. And then inhale to lift all the way back up. And then exhale, we're going to bring the left hand down and come into a supported side plank here. So we can take the right arm up, make sure left shoulder stacking over left wrist, either staying here, or you can send the arm all the way up and over. So making a nice diagonal line now through the right side of the body. So nice deep breaths, really enjoy this nice opening, this nice stretch. One more full breath. And then we'll use an inhale to lift ourselves back up. Bring the hands forwards, and then you can draw that right leg in. And just give the hips a little bit of a wiggle here to release. And then let's take a big breath in through the nose out through the mouth. And then we'll move in on the other side. So we're going to send the left leg out. And again, just coming into whichever foot position works for you. So here or here. Left hand onto left leg. Inhale to open up that right arm, lifting it all the way up. Grow nice and tall. And then exhale, we'll start to tilt over to the left. And again, moving with the exhalation. So if there's any more space to tilt here, moving with the out breath. Try not to let the heart collapse here. Keep the heart nice and open. Maybe the gaze is up here, forwards, or if the neck doesn't feel too happy, you can always look down. Nice, deep, smooth breaths. Lovely, and then we'll use an inhale to lift ourselves up. Exhale, let's bring the right hand down, taking the left arm up, so making a nice vertical line between the arms. Either staying here, we can send that left arm all the way over. Breathing deeply. And then inhaling to lift yourself back up and coming back down. Exhale, come back to your tabletop, and again wiggle through the hips here, a little bit of movement. And then we're going to find our way now up into downward dog. So if you spread your fingers nice and wide and press down through all of the finger pads, and then tucking your toes, lifting your hips up, make sure that your hands and your feet are either hip distance or shoulder distance apart. Little pedal through the feet here, little shake of the head. Really feeling into the foundations of the pose here, so feeling into the hands, into the balls, the feet, the toes. A gentle push with the hands as you lift your tailbone up. So think about the belly moving a little bit closer towards the thighs. Let's take a few deep breaths in and out through the nose. And then with an inhale, you're going to let your right leg lift up into the air, coming into a three-legged dog. So pointing the toes, taking a few breaths here, feeling into the shape of the body. And then with your next exhale, drawing your knee in towards your chest, you're going to step that right foot forwards. We're going to come into a low lunge, so just helping the foot forwards if you need to, and then lifting yourself up here. And finding your balance. So you're going to either stay more upright here, or you can walk those front toes forwards and allow your hips to drop forwards and down. So we're just working a bit more into the left hip flexor and into the psoas muscle. Just make sure your knee comes directly over your ankle. Get a sense of really feeling into the foundations of the pose, so through the lunge, and then we'll start to lift the arms up. So you can have the arms quite wide here if the shoulders are feeling a bit tight. Take the arms wide, or you can have them shoulder width, or you can bring them into prayer. Option to keep the gaze forwards here, or you might want to take a little look up to your prayer or your hands, however, bringing that gaze up. And then spread the fingers, so energy right to the fingertips. Let's take 4 deep breaths here. Lovely, and then releasing down. So we're going to step back into downward dog. Pedal out the feet. Just releasing the legs and the hips. And then big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So inhale, left leg's going to lift up. So coming into your three-legged dog, pointing your toes, taking a few breaths here.
And then with your next exhalation, you're going to draw the knee through, stepping the foot between the hands, and we'll find our low lunge through the other side, so lifting up. So again, option to walk that front foot forwards here to let the hips drop forwards a little bit more, or keeping that more upright position in your lunge. Knee over, directly over the left ankle, feel into the lunge, feel into your foundations, and then inhale to let the arms float up. Again, just decide where you want to have the arms, the hands, and then you might look forwards or look up. And then deepening your breath. How does this posture feel now through the other side? Lovely, and then we'll release down. So coming back into our downward dog. So taking a big step back, paddling out, taking a few breaths here. And then from here, we'll take a little walk with the feet up to meet the hands. So we're going to come into a forward fold. So you can have your feet hip width here, or bring them together and either have the knee soft or the legs straight. We'll take ragdoll version, so you're going to hold on to opposite elbow here and just let the arms hang heavy, weight of the head dropping down. Any compression into the lower back, you can just soften a bit more into the knees here. Bring weight into the toes. As you do this, feel the sit bones lift a little bit higher. And then we'll just start to close the eyes if that feels comfortable here, and focus in on how the body feels now upside down. And then switch the cross, so hold on to the other elbows, the other way around. Few more steady breaths. And then releasing the arms. Slowly, take your time, you're going to roll all the way up to stand. So make sure the head is the last thing to come up.
Once you're up, let the shoulders roll down the back a couple of times here. And then we're going to bring ourselves into mountain pose. So either keep your feet hip width, or you might want to bring the feet together. And then just really bring awareness now down into the soles of your feet. So feel your connection to the ground. So we'll draw awareness up. So we're going to think about bringing awareness up from the feet. Think about the kneecaps slightly lifting. Glutes can slightly engage, the legs are firm. Tailbone lengthening down, the pelvis can just tilt forward slightly, drawing the navel in. Heart open, shoulders softening down. Open your palms and spread your fingers here. Neck long. Think about the crown of the head gently lifting up. And then either closing your eyes or softening your gaze. Start to reconnect with your breath. Feeling the breath as it moves in and out of the body. So we'll bring in a little affirmation here. So as you inhale, just saying to yourself, I love and accept. And as you exhale, saying, who I am. Inhaling, I love and accept. Exhaling, who I am. I love and accept who I am. So keep repeating the affirmation. So repeating the affirmation one more time. And then we'll let it go. Okay, from here we're going to move through a little standing flow, so you can just stay exactly as you are with the feet grounded. With an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms all the way up, and then with an exhale, you're going to part the hands and swan dive forwards, coming into your forward fold. We're going to slide the hands halfway up the shins, coming into a halfway lift, so spine parallel to the ground, and then exhale back to fold. Inhale, you're going to sweep the arms all the way up into a prayer, and then draw the prayer down to your heart space. Okay, so again, so inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forwards through your forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway, hands on the shins, bring the spine in line with the ground, crown of the head pulls forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way back up, big circle coming into prayer above the head. And then exhale, prayer draws down to the heart. And again, inhale, lifting up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. And again, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's keep going with this. We'll do a few more rounds. So just moving with your breath. Feeling into this gentle flow and how it feels through the body. Just cultivating some energy, some prana. Exploring different sensations that arise as you move. You find your mind trailing off into thoughts. Just gently see if you can pull that awareness back in. So coming back into sensations, really feeling into your body. We'll come through one more round. And then when your hands next arrive back at your heart space, you're just going to take a little pause here. So press the thumbs into the sternum, close down the eyes or soften the gaze. Feeling into your body. Perhaps just noticing a change in temperature, you're probably feeling a little warmer. See if you can connect with your heartbeat here, feeling the pulse somewhere in your body. What sensations are present? Lovely, and then we'll release the hands. So we're going to come into Warrior 3. So we start with our right leg lifting up. So we're going to take a step forwards with the left. And then just really get a sense of feeling the ground underneath that left foot. So feel the foundations. And then you're going to take a little half or step onto the tiptoe. So you're shifting all the way into your left leg. And then fixing your gaze, finding a little spot in front of you. So it's going to help with your balance. And then we bring the hands into prayer here. Slowly, you're going to start to tilt the body. So we're going to just let the back leg lift away from the ground. So we might just come in a little way here. We might just come to here, more of a diagonal line, pushing out through the heel, toes pointing down so we keep our hips square. Or if you want to come in a little bit further, you're going to try and bring your body in line with the ground. So keep pushing out through the heels so the hips stay in line. You might keep the hands at prayer here, or you might want to aeroplane the arms back, so palms down, reaching the fingertips towards the back. Or you might want to extend the arms forwards, so coming into more of the full expression of the pose, so reaching forwards, hands shoulder width apart. Spread the fingers. So any of those options with the hands, just have a little play. Try and maintain a really deep rhythm with the breath. And if you fall out, doesn't matter, just come straight back in, try again, give it another go. It's just really keeping that playful approach, so try not to take it too seriously, just have a little go. And take another 3 breaths. And then slowly you're going to lift yourself all the way back up and release, and just give the legs a little bit of a shake. All right, let's do a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we'll find our way in now through the other side. So right foot's going to ground. So set up your foundation, fix your gaze, find that spot in front of you, shifting all the way into your right leg, hands to prayer, and then when you're ready you can start to tilt the body forwards. So pushing out through that left heel, so imagine the foot's trying to push into an imaginary wall behind you. Hips stay in line, coming in as far as feels comfortable. Feeling into how the sensations of balance feel. Maybe aeroplaning the arms, maybe extending the arms forwards. Keep breathing, keep a nice steady smooth breath. Taking 3 more. And then slowly coming out. Great, and then shake out the legs. And then bring yourself back now into stillness. So come back to your mountain pose, Tadasana. Close your eyes and we'll just feel into any rebound sensations from that last posture. Notice how your energy is. Notice the breath. Let it settle and soften back into its more natural rhythm. Okay, so we're going to make our way back down to the ground now. So if we bring ourselves through a spinal roll, so have the feet hip width apart, arms heavy, chin to chest. We're going to roll all the way down, taking your time to get there.
Let the weight of the arms just hang heavy for a few moments, soft through the knees. Give a little shake to the head. And then if we bring our bend into the knees and bring our hands all the way down to the ground, we can take a big step back into downward dog. And then from here, we're going to come into pigeon pose. We'll just come in to open the hips a little bit now. So we're going to bring the right knee behind the right wrist. You're going to place your leg down onto the mat like so, and extend that back leg out long here. So just make sure it's extended. And so for pigeon, if you want less stretch through the hip, you have the foot coming in towards you. For more stretch, you can take it up to a 90-degree angle here, that being the strongest point. So perhaps somewhere in between. You want to make sure that your hips stay in line with each other. So don't let your right hip come down onto the mat here. It needs to be hovering. You can always use your block here to place it underneath the hip to keep the position. Ground through the hands and puff up the chest and lift the gaze as you breathe in. And then with an exhale, you're going to slowly bring yourself down onto your forearms. So you're going to know if you've got enough stretch going on in your right hip now. You might need to come up and adjust your foot if you're not feeling enough or it's too much. and make adjustments if you need to. Option to stay on the forearms, or you can make stack fists, rest the forehead onto your fists, make a little pillow, rest the head down, or bring the forehead to the mat. We might even use your prop here to rest your forehead onto. And then we're going to really feel now down into the sensations through the right hip. So with pigeon, you don't want to feel any pain here. You do want to feel a little bit of discomfort though. So we want to breathe into that discomfort. So the hips is a place where we tend to hold a lot of tension. So we want to see if we can just release some of that holding on with the exhalation. So nice, deep, slow breaths. Softening with the out breath. Can I let go a little bit more with each of my exhalations? Your mind's drifting away into thought, just gently guiding that awareness back into sensation. If the sensations through the hips are feeling a little intense here, then just try and focus on the breath. So feel the movement of the breath in the chest, in the belly. And take another 3 breaths here. Lovely, and then we're going to release. So we're going to slowly bring ourselves back out, coming into downward dog. So tucking the back toes, lift the back knee, pushing yourself back into downward dog and pedaling out through the feet here so we can release the hips, release the legs. And take a nice big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we'll move in on the other side. So left leg comes forwards, extend the back leg out long. Again, you might want your block or your prop underneath your left hip just to keep the hips in line with each other. Ground into the hands, inhale to lift the chest, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, you're going to slowly come down, taking your time. There's no rush to come to that final position. Getting maybe onto the forearms, just making sure you've got enough sensation happening in your left hip. And then either making your fists or your pillow or using your prop to bring your forehead to rest. And then we can start to focus now in on the left hip. So feeling into the new sensations now through this side. Breathing deeply. Seeing if we can just soften and relax some of that holding on now through the left side. Keep the mind focused on body sensations or with the breath. Take another 3 breaths here. Lovely, and then we're going to slowly bring ourselves out. So walking the hands slowly back up, tucking the back toes, lifting yourself back now into your downward facing dog. Pedaling the feet out, release the hips and the legs. And then we can drop down onto the knees, and we're going to make our way into a child's pose. So you can do the wide-legged one here again, extending the arms out long, or for more of a restorative full version, have the knees together and you can rest your hands back by your feet. And then really just enjoying now a few moments of rest here in your child's pose, feeling the support of the ground, just checking in with your body. And then if you bring yourself now to sit back onto your heels, we're going to bring ourselves down to lie on our back. So if you make your way there and just bring your book or your block with you, we're going to come into bridge pose. So we're going to be using that to squeeze the brick between the thighs or the knees. So if you make sure that the feet are hip width apart here, you want to have your heels nice and close towards your sit bones, just so you can brush the back of your heels with your fingertips. And then get your prop and place it and squeeze it between the thighs. So again, this is going to give us the chance to engage those inner thigh muscles and also the pelvic floor. So if we bring the hands now to ground next to the body. So from neutral here, before you lift, think about the belly button drawing back towards the spine. So flatten your lower back into the mat. Squeeze the glutes slightly as you push into your feet and lift your hips up with an in-breath. And then exhale to slowly lower down. Just do that a couple more times to start to feel into the pose. So inhale, belly button back towards spine, flatten the lower back, push into the feet, lift the hips, inhaling, holding the breath at the top. And then exhaling to lower. And again. Okay, this time we're going to hold up in our bridge. So lifting up, squeezing the block. This time really think about squeezing up through the pelvic floor. You might keep the hands as they are, or you can interlace them under the body, squeezing the shoulder blades a little bit closer together. Let's take 5 deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. So 4 more like that. Lovely, and then with your next exhalation, slowly lower yourself all the way down, release the block, and then you can draw your knees in towards you. Take a gentle rock from side to side, and then making your way into final resting pose. So if you bring your legs out long, let the feet drop out to the side, open the palms up. You might not have the arms. Actually, we're going to come into a little face massage before we finish actually. So if we all bring the hands up into prayer, and you're going to just rub the hands together and just generate a bit of warmth here. And then when they feel nice and warm, just press the palms over your eyes. Let's just feel into that nice pressure and warmth. And then from here, just moving your hands now around your face. So you're just gonna give yourself a little bit of love, a little bit of attention, just softening and just working out some of the tension in the facial muscles. So you might work around the back of the jaw here, a place where we tend to clench and hold tension. Maybe just coming to the temples. Might even come up to the brow, so the space between the eyebrows. So option to stay on the face, or you might want to work into your neck a little bit here, easing out any tension. Or maybe a little bit of a head massage, so working into the scalp. Maybe even coming to the ears.
releasing once you're done. And then we're just going to come into a few deep breaths with our affirmation before we come to final relaxation. So you might want to bring your hands onto the body here, or you might want to just have the palms open by your side. So inviting back in our affirmation. So as you inhale, take a nice deep breath in. I love and accept. And as you exhale, saying who I am. So again, inhalation. I love and accept. Exhalation. Who I am. I love and accept who I am. I love and accept who I am. So just keep repeating those words to yourself with the breath. And then you have the option to stay with the affirmation if you want to just keep repeating it to yourself, or if you want to now let go of the affirmation, you might want to release your hands back down by your side, and you might want to just finish the practice now just focusing on your breath. So either being with the affirmation or just following the gentle rhythm of your breath, so keeping the mind focused. And surrendering now with each moment, allowing body and mind to settle and soften. Just enjoying these moments of stillness. So slowly start to come back. Take your time. A few deeper breaths. Some little movement into the fingers and toes. Gentle roll of the head from side to side. And then you can come into a nice full body stretch when you're ready. And then from here you can either just hug the knees in, or you might just want to pull the knees in, and we're going to meet on in a fetal position on either the left or right side. Taking a few moments to pause here. Just noticing how your body's feeling. So whatever you feel like you've gained from this experience, just see if you can take some of your energy that you've cultivated here with you now as you move into the rest of your day. And slowly Bring yourself up to seated, keeping your gaze soft with your eyes closed. We'll bring the hands into Anjali Mudra at the heart space. Take a little bow of the head down towards your prayer. Embrace and love your body. It's the most amazing thing that you will ever own. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing this practice with me.